I'm not a drama queen or bitch, but I am surrounded by them. And I was born in the worst hellhole in the history of the world. Obviously, because they have the capacity, the technology to understand the Lord's Prayer and live it Lord's worldwide. They have the capacity to do it, but they won't do it because of their selfishness. And no other time in history have people been given this great of a capacity, this grander scale of a capacity to accept the Lord's Prayer and share it overnight and live faithful love for children till the end of time than in this time. In my year, it said so. And a lot of the books and the stories, this is, the apocalypse and stuff. And in Las Cruces, New Mexico, where they chose to create the nuclear weapon and then threaten everybody with death that they couldn't abuse them with philanthropy. In 1966, there was a child born to Ralph and Mary. And he was junior. So his name was Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. And the corporations, the scientific community was studying him to see, to study the stories that were written about his life. And they still are. And they think because they can abuse you and torture you and murder you, physically, they can do it slowly, D'Antoine LaVey in my head and Michael Aquino and Sierra Vista, their fate's worse than death. It's like, that's your opinion because you're selfish, when you take Michelle away from us or Marianne away from us, like I said about cancer when I was younger, so the only thing good about it is, the person you love is no longer suffering and in pain. So when it's over, the only thing good about people being tortured by poisoning that causes cancer is knowing that it's over. That your loved one is no longer physically suffering and the soul is no longer being tortured in the body by disease. That's the only good thing about it. Is when they're gone, the person you love is no longer being tortured by disease and disgustingness of human beings. That's the only good thing about cancer. But that's what the cancer cell is for, is to alleviate the suffering and the pain of a toxic environment of people that torture because they are utterly disgusting. And I live in the cradle of cancer, the cradle of death, the cradle of, this Tularosa, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki. It's right over that pass when you see that missile pointing up when you cross St. Augustine's Pass. Okay, and Augustine was wrong about his worship of Jesus Christ and his perception of religion, his perception of suffering, just like John Bunyan was wrong and Dante's Inferno was wrong. Okay. It's based on a mythological perception of people that are not faithful enough to understand what faithful people were teaching and talking about, because murderers take your life away. Would we have best-selling authors and tons of books and movies if people had accepted the Lord's Prayer year one in the Roman Empire, or accepted the Lord's Prayer in Mecca after the Hajj? Would we have best-selling authors and award-winning movies? Would you have a gladiator culture with a bunch of marketing bitches and whores all over television expressing themselves egotistically over conflict over money? And the answer is no. It's obviously no, not at all. So, to all you scientists that study me and think, oh, he's in denial, he's stuff. It's possible for you to die through super quantum computing robotic extermination, and for people to use science projects to revive me because they feel guilty, like what happened with Jesus Christ after Calvary. That's entirely tangible. I'm not a magical thinker. You know, DT Suzuki didn't tell me magically heal thyself, and he said survive, stop, and eliminate abuse, and then recover. He didn't tell me how I was going to do it. He just told me to do it. Good, do you understand? So, for all you assholes studying me, and there's especially psychologists and neurologists, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you should not talk in front of people. You don't tell people how to survive being abused by abusive people while you're trained by those abusive people to be a mental fucking placebo. That kid that they have all those videos on YouTube, they suggested my view of YouTube from Stanford that was on the talk show. You're such a cowardly fucking pussy. You need to shut the fuck up. You should not talk around people. You do not tell people how to lay back and enjoy the rape and survive the rape because you have no intention on standing up for the Lord's Prayer with me. You're absolutely fucking useless when it comes to people understanding how their brain should work properly in order to live a good life. You're just like a televangelist fucking preacher. You might as well be Michael Youssef sending navigators out to poor people in exploited regions through the world that are insidiously exploited. You can't sit there and say that there's not exploitation and genocide in El Paso. And that it's a better place to live in El Paso than it is to live in Syria or Libya. Those people are put out of their misery faster when they drop bombs on them in Lebanon. They're suffering, they're being abused, they're praying for deliverance and hope, and it's all fantasy, and they get mass murdered by an asshole named Benjamin Netanyahu and a bunch of assholes that call themselves Hamas and Hezbollah. Yeah, I said hummus. Hamas? Oh, you're worm food. Why should I call you Hamas? Is it the same? I don't know. Am I saying it properly or correctly? I'm being obnoxious? No, I'm being serious. I'm sick of those fuckers on TV pretending to be like Muhammad and acting like shit. I'm sick of assholes on TV telling everybody they're like Abraham and David and acting like shit. I'm sick of people saying Jesus is God and he has a plan for your life. Now, buy my book. Buy my book. Buy my book. Really? You really think Jesus left us a book to believe in? Marvin Gaye thought that. I was like, well, Constantine and Jerome, if you read the historical events of their lives, a man whose mother was a crazy bitch that took the nails that the Romans used to crucify Jesus and made artifacts to magically protect her son, from dying from his political rivals trying to kill him because he wouldn't live the Lord's Prayer. It's one thing to stand up for the Lord's Prayer and be murdered by people like Constantine and his mother and Jerome, or King James and the royal family of England. It's another thing to say that you want to live it, but you're afraid your family's going to kill you. Jesus, your mother and your brethren want you. Where are my brethren? All right. Would this make a nice script for Martin Short and Steve Martin and a Selena Gomez TV show? How are you going to solve the mystery? You got all the clues? You don't have to. Takes all the suspense out, right? This isn't even a good Zorro episode or screenplay. Yeah, I'm not here to make money. I'm here to save children from being murdered by people like you. And I'm here to try to save you from murdering your own time with your egos instead of living lovingly with the people that you claim to love. The only crime is, why haven't you solved yourself yet? All right, let's load this up and we'll get back to work. I'm uncomfortable. I don't smell good because I'm detoxing, We'll see how well I can survive this on my own before technology uses intervention to save us from people that study us with technology and say, hey, you got this. And it's ridiculous watching those things. You need Thumbtack? You can't fix your own fucking cabinet? No, they don't. They live in apartments. They don't have any tools. They don't have any, so it's not like it used to be. You have to call a professional who comes in a vehicle, who's monitored by the government through the satellites. And what? We need people that try to make us think that we're inadequate intellectually, monitoring us with technology, telling us what to do because they couldn't teach us properly at the fucking Abbott Elementary there. I mean, don't you think, wait, mom and dad who gave us Jesus and the faith of the Bible, okay, aren't adequate at teaching us to save one another from genocide, so we have to go to buildings to be taught to be Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and assholes with egomaniac problems like you? Okay, I'm trust me, I'm cleaning this fucker up. I don't give a fuck what the fuckers monitoring me and studying my brain activity and my heart rate, my body think. That they should think they're not thinking. Okay, guys, I love you. Eckhart Tolle just sells books. I stop people from having to sell books to justify their existence. I'm a really good person.